Hello YouTube, my name is Big Boy Snatch on TV, aka Wakanda Snatch One, because I got playing around. As you can tell by the title of the video, this is my AEW Dynamite review on highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the entire video from the beginning towards the end. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button for more every week wrestling review content that I do on the channel, because I'm on the road to 11K. And don't forget, follow all my social media down below in the description. And go check out my WWE NXT review on highlights. Go check out my WWE Raw review on highlights. And also, last but not least, go check out my AEW Redemption review on highlights as well that I did on the channel. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. Now, AEW Dynamite, I thought it was a very good show for what it was, and I give it a 7 out of 10. AEW was live from Detroit, Michigan, Masonic Temple. It is Wednesday, my dudes. You know what that means. You can't see it, but I am pointing to where a bee got me in my upper lip earlier today, and I'm shouting, "It's a sting." I have to laugh so I don't cry. Anyways, we kick off. We kick off. We kick off the show off. We kick the show off with commentary hyping up the confirmed matches for All In and the new champions coming out of Redemption. We have 4 big title matches on tape tonight, including the Continental title as Jon Moxley defends against Commander. We cut to a video package looking back at the ending to AEW Redemption last night, and Will Ospreay's falling out with the Death Riders. This is intercut with Jon Moxley and the Death Riders causing chaos backstage, with Jon Moxley not pleased that this is what they get for months for training. We see the Death Riders watching a monitor in a dressing room as Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega stands off, seemingly happy to close the show, until Kenny Omega scoops Will Ospreay up from the turnbuckle for a Rome winged angel. Jon Moxley mocks the fact he knew Kenny Omega would do this, considering the title is on the line. That said, Will Ospreay is in a unique position of being one of the best wrestlers in the world, and with nothing to lose. He truly is on Death Rider's ground now. We cut to the parking lot earlier today, as Will Ospreay dodges a question about what went down at AEW Redemption. He is confronted by the Death Riders, with Daniel Garcia starting to mouth off at him, only to get knocked down by Will Ospreay. Jon Moxley and the rest of his group stares at him down, with the leader asking if Will Ospreay really wants to do that. Will Ospreay says Jon Moxley doesn't get to pull the trigger for him, shoving the Death Riders patch in his chest as he tells Jon Moxley he's out. He storms off as Renee Paquette tries to get a word from him, but he is soon confronted by Hangman Adam Page. Well, confronted as a strong word, as Hangman Adam Page tells him he respects Will Ospreay's finally coming to his sense about the Death Riders, and offer of help is declined as Will Ospreay tells the Hangman he's got the United Empire mad at him. The Death Riders breathing down his neck, and he can't trust Kenny Omega, so he won't trust Hangman Adam Page. Hangman Adam Page makes a joke about this for a moment before telling Will Ospreay he got this and wishes him luck at AEW All In, I'm looking forward to AEW All In. From there, we head to ringside where Jack Perry makes his entrance first for our opening contest. Out next is Nick Wayne, followed by the new champion Andrade El Idolo, as we get this match on the way. So we get a 3-way AEW National Championship match. Andrade El Idolo defends against Jack Perry, Nick Wayne, and Jack Perry. I might as well say, this triple threat match, this was a good match to start the show. It's a slow start at first, as we get a justify how you know chant, but things quickly pick up when Jack Perry catches the chant with a super kick. Nick Wayne goes after the former Jungle Boy, but he is fended off before Andrade regains control with a double suplex. He sends Nick Wayne out of the ring with a head scissors before Jack Perry sends him to the ropes, where Andrade Aldio poses. Jack Perry chase him out of the ring for a bulldog, but the champ is already back up and sends him to the barricade. He posed with one of the fans in the front row for a selfie, but Nick Wayne intercepts to go after him. Jack Perry gets involved, and with the champ taking down the challengers, head back into the ring to go at it. Andrade Aldio slides back into the ring, taking both opponents to the mat to a pop from the crowd. He goes for three amigos on Jack Perry and connects fully a smile on his face as Jack Perry crawls to the corner for a breather. Andrade Aldio goes for a double knee but gets intercepted by Nick Wayne, who gets sent to the opposite corner with a shotgun drop kick by Jack Perry. As we go to commercial break. Not Nick Johnson. Nick Wayne has Jack Perry up on the turnbuckle, but is taken down by Andrade Aldio. This gives Jack Perry a chance to fight back, only for Nick Wayne and Jack Perry to end up on the outside, where they get taken out with a dive by Andrade Aldio. Nick Wayne is back up. However, he sends Andrade Aldio to the ring for a prodigy plex, covered by Nick Wayne, but Jack Perry breaks the pin. Jack Perry and Nick Wayne trade strikes until the champ gets involved, being sent to the ropes, only to take both opponents to the canvas with a double clothesline. Jack Perry slowly gets to his feet to fight it, but with Andrade, but Nick Wayne to fight it out with Andrade, but Nick Wayne is right there to get involved as well. This ends with Nick Wayne and Andrade Aldio sent out of the ring, where Jack Perry lands a dive and a big moonsault on both men. He brings Nick Wayne back into the ring for a cover, but only gets a 2 count. He heads to the corner for a running knee, but Nick Wayne dodges it and sends him to the outside, only to be caught by the champ and sends to the mat hard. Andrade Aldio goes up top, but it's intercepted by a returning Jack Perry, who gets sent right back out of the ring by the champ, who hits Dia de los Muertos and the DM on Nick Wayne for the win. The winner by pinfall and still your AEW national champion, Andrade Aldio. This was a good triple threat match. This was a good triple threat match between Jack Perry, Nick Wayne, and Andrade Aldio. Andrade Aldio gets an interview post match where he says he's feeling tranquilo because he screwed MJF, stealing his diamond ring, and screwed Don Callis, taking the national title away from Mark Davis. He will fight anyone and anywhere to prove he is the best national champion. Tony Schiavone talks about the Casino Gauntlet match at AEW All In London, where the winner earns a future shot at the World Championship. Next week in Andrade's hometown of Mexico City, there will be a qualifying match that he thinks the national champion should be quite happy about. Andrade has one question to ask Tony about that. How you know? Big pops from the crowd as his music hits. Backstage, we hear from the Brawling Birds, who tell Divine Dominion they talk too much. They never shut up, as the song goes, before telling them to step up as the Brawling Birds will look to take the title soon. So we go to commercial break. Backstage, we hear from the Don Callis family. The tensions quickly builds up as Kyle Fletcher addresses defending the international championship all by himself at AEW Redemption, but he is cut off by Kevin Knight. This leads to a brief confrontation with Kyle Fletcher. Pointing out that Kevin Knight couldn't beat Kenny Omega last night before Okada chimes in to reassure everyone the international title will stay in the family. From there, we go to ringside as the family trio of Kyle Fletcher, Brian Cage, and Jake Doll heads to the ring. Out next are Brodito and Speedball Mike Bailey, and we get this match on the way. So we get a 6-man tag team match. Don Callis family, Brian Cage, Jake Doll, and Kyle Fletcher versus Speedball Mike Bailey and Bandito. So we get a 6-man tag team match. And this 6-man tag team match, I ain't even gonna lie to you. And this was a fun tag team match. We start off with Bailey and Kyle Fletcher, but not for long, as Kyle Fletcher tells him to take out Mike Bailey a blitz, as we get a chant from the crowd while Brody King tags in. Brody King quickly goes to work on the chant, wearing him down until Brian Cage makes the tag, only to tag Jake Doll in as well. And the two go to work on King. Jake Doll tags out to Kyle Fletcher, but this turns around on him as Mike Bailey tags in for some shorts on the man. He challenges for the title next week. The fight spills to the outside, where Bandito keeping Brian Cage and Jake Doll at bay, making a tag to go after Kyle Fletcher from the turnbuckle. Kyle Fletcher starts to fight back, but is hosted up for a deadlift suplex by the luchador, who sends him to the corner for some punches. He gets sent to the outside, where Brian Cage catches him with a powerbomb to the ring post, while the referee is distracted before we head to commercial break. So we go to commercial break. Kyle Fletcher maintains control as he has Bandito on the turnbuckles, but the luchador managed to fight back and take the champ to the mat with a DDT. He crawls to the corner for a tag, but it's blocked by Brian Cage, who has tagged in. Bandito managed to break free, for a tag to Brody King. Brody King. The crowd chanting meat as Brody King fights it out with both Brian Cage and Jake Doll. He sends Jake Doll to the corner, stacking Brian Cage up over him before landing a cannonball on both men. He brings Brian Cage over for a cover, but that only gets a 2. Brian Cage is back up and hits some strikes, only to be laid out by Brody King, who makes a tag to Mike Bailey. He goes after the machine, but gets taken down with a powerbomb to the corner. He tags to Kyle Fletcher, who rushes at his future challenger for a knee strike. Covered by Kyle Fletcher, but Brodeo breaks the pin. Jake Doll and Brian Cage sent them out of the ring as Kyle Fletcher goes for a DDT, only for Mike Bailey to counter into a jackknife pin for 2. Tag made to Bandito and Jake Doll, the latter laying out of the luchador before Brody King lands a disgust elbow to take him down. Brian Cage catches Brody King with an F5, but it's sent to the outside by Mike Bailey for a dive. Back in the ring, Bandito counters Jake Doll with the Hurricane for a near fall. He sends Jake Doll to the ropes for a 21-plex, only for Jake Doll to fight back with an elbow strike. He looks for a powerbomb, but Bandito gets to the corner for a tag to Bailey, who lands a Ultima weapon knee drop on the back of Jake Doll, followed by a splash for the win. The winner of the match by pinfall, Speedball Mike Bailey and Bro Dito. And this was a fun tag team match. Kyle Fletcher is in shock as he nearly missed breaking up the pin. And the Speedball Dito trio, that's what I'm calling them at least, celebrate as we go to commercial break. So we go to commercial break. So we get a sit down interview with Christian Cage and Adam Copeland and the Young Bucks. And this sit down interview, I ain't even gonna lie to you, this was a quick sit down interview, but it wasn't bad. It was just a decent sit down interview. We head directly to a sit down interview as Renee Paquette talks to the Young Bucks and Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. The two teams shows respect to each other. Respect to each other for what they're done for the business, especially as it relates to the tag team division. Christian Cage has a bit more to add to this, stating that he and Adam Copeland don't come back for a retirement tour, a greatest hit tour as it were. They're here to prove that they're not only the best of their generation, but of yours as well. He also knows he's glad that the Young Bucks wives are coming to London. But Matt Jackson shakes this off as he talks about the Young Bucks looking to win the titles, to be the most decorated team in the business. Adam Copeland interrupts to talk about he and Christian Cage being out of the business for some time and not even being a tag team for a quarter century, so it didn't make the comparison game with them. Matt Jackson added that he just hoping the champs are ready as they're gonna go at it harder, faster, stronger than ever before. Christian Cage says it sounds like he's trying to talk himself into a win. When Paquette asks about any doubts the two teams are facing, with Adam Copeland admitting there is a little bit he's looking to overcome it. Matt Jackson says there's been doubt given at them, but they are prepared to stop that talk when they go into this match. With that, the interview comes to a close. That was a decent sit down interview between Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, and the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson. Back at ringside, Proters Phone makes her entrance for our next match, followed by Maya World to get this match underway. Let me take a sip of my water. Alright. But anyway. So we get the TBS Championship match. Maya World defense against C-Mill World Women's Champion Persephone. And this match right here, I ain't even gonna lie to you, this was a solid match, what it was. Persephone goes after the new champ quickly, only for Maya World to fight back, sending Persephone to the ropes. The action spills to the outside where Maya World looks for a dive from the apron, only to be slammed hard by her challenger. Before we get an ad break, both women are back in the ring where Persephone looks for a pin, but Maya World counters for a 2 count. Instead, she rolls out of the grip of the challenger for a double stomp, followed by a kick from the corner for another near fall. Persephone blocks a bridging suplex, landing a follow-away slam. Instead, that sends the champ to the outside. No room to breathe for World as Persephone runs through the ropes for a dive, but Maya World is back up, taking the challenger down with a dropkick followed by a DDT off the apron. She brings Persephone back in the ring, landing a meteor of shorts for a near fall. Persephone fires back with a delayed suplex, bringing for a close 2 count. The champ stops her cold in the corner with for a moonsault. I'm sorry. But as she goes for a cover with the candlestick, she gets brought into the ring. We quickly see who brought the stick as Hikaru Shida gets on the apron to distract the referee. But before Persephone can use the candlestick, it gets pulled away from in a robbery Chris Statlander, which allows My World to land a bridge and suplex for the win. The winner of the match by pinfall and still your TBS champion, Maya World. This was a solid. This was a Yeah. This was a solid. This was a solid match for what it was. Maya World celebrates with Chris Atlanta some respect as we cut backstage where Mark Davis addresses losing the national championship as well as looking for some revenge on Will Ospreay. He promised to leave the Don Callis family in the back next week so they can settle things. All right, back at ringside, we get a glimpse of Crosby and Shark Week rolls on with the Discovery Network before we head to the ring. We head to the ring for Will Nightingale's championship celebration. I don't know why that shark was dancing. Anyway, this was a good segment by Will Nightingale. When Paquette welcomes the new champ to the ring as the crowd chants, "You deserve it," which is I agree. We get a bunch of streamers in the ring for the occasions, and Will Nightingale is choked up as she tells the fans how much that means to her. She addresses that there have been haters over the years, which gets some boos from the crowd. There are folks who look at her and just didn't get it, thinking big things would never happen. This past year, she made the fans very happy by the reaction she's getting. She jokes about the makeup artist working very hard, as in saying not to make her cry. Before talking about her win as half of the first ever women's world tag team champions, and what was I? It says and defeated Mercedes Moné for the TBS championship. Then she got hurt and it came crashing down. She found herself in a dark place, but you know who helped her get out of that? Good old mom. This gets a mom chant as she thanks her mom, Jill, who helped bring her Warrior Princess, which gets that as a chant as well. Fight to get back into the shape for the Casino Gauntlet match to face a toxic champion in Tekla. Willow gives the fans some advice saying if she ever gets knocked around, don't you dare give up. She talks about what it means to fight, but it's interrupted by the arrival of Mercedes Moné, who curiously gets piped in CEO chant as part of her theme. LOL. She makes her way to the ring with her contract for a title match at AEW All In, wrestling her way through the streamers in the ring. Mercedes Moné says she didn't come out here for this silly celebration. She tells the new champ to sign the contract for AEW All In match right now. Will Nightingale obliges as Renee Paquette confirms it's been made official. Will Nightingale has some words for her challenger, asking why she this way. It is because for 5 seconds everyone didn't give her the attention she wanted. it is because Will Nightingale beat her to the end. Mercedes Moné 584 days reign as TBS champion, or is it because Will Nightingale has the one title Mercedes Moné just can't seem to take? Mercedes Moné talks about the fact Will Nightingale's name has been written all over her story. When Mercedes Moné got when Mercedes Moné got injured and her career stopped, everyone celebrated Will Nightingale when Mercedes Moné was trying to get on her redemption path. Everyone talk about Will Ospreay. Not Will Ospreay, Will Nightingale. Why keep saying Will Ospreay? Everyone talks about Will Nightingale. And I'm glad I corrected myself. I don't know why I say Will Ospreay. Anyway, even now all anyone seems to care about is Willow Nightingale. The crowd is not having any of this. Promo from Mercedes Moné chant shut the you know what up as she addresses how that makes her feel. At AEW All In, she will not shut the you know what up, but she will beat Will Nightingale at all, and all anyone will remember her for is the fact she was standing across the ring for Mercedes Moné. She and Will and Nightingale start training some more verbal bar until Divine Dominion come in attacking the new champ until Brawling Birds come out for the save. They run Mercedes Moné and the tag champs out of the ring as we go to commercial. In my opinion, this was a good segment. This was a good segment between Will Nightingale and Mercedes Moné. So we go to commercial break. We head to ringside once again as Jon Moxley makes his entrance through the crowd for our next match, curiously still getting a big pop from the crowd, despite his and the Death Riders' actions at AEW Redemption. Commentary for their part address what happened with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay and how they play into what Jon Moxley was trying to prove as Commander makes his way to the ring. We take a look at what he did last week on Ring of Honor at Redemption before we get this match on the way. So we get the AEW Continental Championship. Jon Moxley defends against Commander. And this match right here, I ain't even gonna lie. This was a fantastic match for what it was. Jon Moxley circled the mat before locking up with Commander, wiggling the arms of the luchador. Commander rolls through for a hold of his own, but the champ breaks free for a cover in a near fall. Commander backs into the corner before Jon Moxley grabs a side headlock, where he ends up sending the challenger to the mat. The pair rests, which leads to a test of strength. Before Jon Moxley cinches in a side headlock, Commander breaks free and hits the ropes, only to be taken to the canvas with a shoulder tackle. He's back up and catches Jon Moxley with a cradle off the ropes for a 2 count. Kick to the face from the corner, and Commander follows up with an arm drag. Jon Moxley is already back up, however, and lands a hard kick to keep the luchador down. He sends Commander to the ropes, but takes a head scissor, sending him to the floor. Commander climbs the nearest turnbuckle and walks the ropes, only to drop down when Jon Moxley walks away. But the luchador gets the drop on him with a dive anyway as we go to commercial break. Jon Moxley has regained control of the match with a front face lock on the challenger, who fights back to his feet. Commander counters a suplex attempt for a cradle and a 2 count, only to be sent to the corner by the champ. Jon Moxley charges at the luchador, who dodges at the last second before taking Jon Moxley to the canvas with a drop kick. A series of kicks from the challengers allows Commander to hit the ropes for a crossbody of sorts, but it's only good for another near fall. Jon Moxley sends him to the corner where Commander dodges him, looking for another fury of offense, but it lays out with a clothesline instead. Jon Moxley brings him to the corner for some punches and starts ripping at the mask. off Commander as the referee admonished him. Commander fights out of it, letting Jon Moxley up for a guaranteed leg drop across the back. The impact sends Jon Moxley over the ropes to the outside, while the challenger drops to the floor as well. He used the barricade to get back up, and Jon Moxley tries to attack him here, only for Commander to dodge him and get back in the ring, where he catches Jon Moxley with the 450 splash. Yeah, with the 450 splash as he comes into the ring, and this gives him a 2 count. Commander dodges a lariat attempt, landing a third kick that sends Jon Moxley out of the ring. Commander climbs the turnbuckle as the time manages to walk the ropes for the spaceman, dropping down hard on the champ, sending him to the floor. He brings him back to the ring before going for a shooting star rope walk. But Jon Moxley rolls out of the way, countering with a stump. He quickly cinches in a bulldog choke and Commander goes out quickly as Jon Moxley picks up the win. The winner by pinfall and still your AEW Continental Champion, Jon Moxley. This was a good match. This match was fantastic for what it was. Jon Moxley celebrates as we cut backstage, where Mick Foley Bang Bang stands by with the Bang Bang gang. He knows a subdued attitude here, and the gang addressed the fact Jay White isn't here after what went down at AEW Redemption, with Juice Robinson calling the Dogs out for a fight tomorrow night on Collision. If you're not down with that, they got 2 words for you. No Mick, not bang, but guns up. Alright. Yeah. Alright, that was a quick backstage promo. And yeah, and that's it. That was a quick backstage promo, but there's more to it. So yeah, there's more there is more to it. And that's all I gotta say. It says right here. So we go to commercial break. We head back to ringside as I start staring at my clock, wondering why AEW is doing what WWE did on Monday and trying to raise my blood pressure when with this overrun stuff for the second time this week. Setting that aside, it's time for our main event. The Corporation make their entrance first, followed by the Demand, with Bishop Khan making a beeline for the ring to go after the champs. Orange Cassidy gets sent out of the ring to be dealt with by Luna as Roger Strong managed to send Ricochet out of the ring, and all 6 men go at it on the outside. Roger Strong and Kyle O'Reilly set up Ricochet for a diving strike by Orange Cassidy, who gets from the top turnbuckle all the way down to the apron for the strike. Toa grabs a hold of him and brings him back in the ring. And as Orange Cassidy admits that he's good to go, we get this main event on the way. So we get the main event of the evening. So we get an AEW World Trios Championship match. The conglomeration Orange Cassidy, Roger Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly defense against the Demand, Ricochet, Toa, Luna, and Bishop Khan. And this 6-man main event match right here, this was not a bad match. This match was I might as well say this was pretty good main event. But the conglomeration should have retained the AEW World Trio Championship. Orange Cassidy tries to fight back before putting his hands in his pockets, and Luna just holds him up away, throwing him around. In comes Roger Strong, and the pair manage to keep GOA at bay until they get dropped to the mat. The Demand firmly take control of the match as they send Kyle O'Reilly to the outside, and then drops Orange Cassidy to the mat as we go to commercial break. Back in the ring, Roger Strong fights back with a backbreaker on Ricochet before tagging in Kyle O'Reilly. In comes Kong as we as well, but Kyle O'Reilly lands a hard kick to keep him down. He fends off Luna before sending Ricochet into the big man, turning his attention to Bischoff for an ankle lock. Kong crawls to the ropes for a break, and Ricochet tags in for a big triple team into a standing shooting star press for a near fall. Kyle Riley fights back, dropping Ricochet hard before getting the tag to Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy climbs the turnbuckle, but is intercepted by Ricochet. The two fight it out until Orange Cassidy digs his fingers into the head of Ricochet, forcing him to the mat. Bischoff rushed in, but is intercepted by Roger Strong. Things break down as Kyle O'Reilly and Ricochet come in, but finally calm down when Kyle O'Reilly gets the tag in. He and Roger Strong double team Bischoff, leading to a high low, but Ricochet breaks up the pin. That follows. Toa gets back in the ring, gets the tag and levels Kyle O'Reilly and Roger Strong before Orange Cassidy tries to lay him out with a orange punch. That doesn't phase the big man, but a Stone Dog millionaire keeps him down. After all, chaos ensues as the Lethal Twist take advantage of a referee distraction, while Ricochet gets the tag and hits the spirit gun on Kyle O'Reilly for the win. The winner of the match by pinfall in your new AEW World Trios Champions did the demand. This was a pretty good main event match for what it was. The new champs are joined by the Lethal Twist in attacking the conglomeration until Brody King and Hangman Page come out for the save. Hangman Page has a barbed wire chair that he used to scare the demanding Twist. My new nickname for them, LOL, to the ramp. Alright, we cut to outside the temple where the Dead Riders addresses their opponents for AEW Collision, as well as the situation with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. John Moxley interjects about this run as Continental Champion and how he isn't scared of whatever comes his way next. Commentary confirms that Will Ospreay faces Daniel Garcia tomorrow on AEW Collision before we head to ringside to hear from Kenny Omega after retaining the AEW World Championship at AEW Redemption. So we hear from Kenny Omega speaks. And this was a great segment. This was a fantastic closing segment between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. This was the closing segment of the night. Kenny Omega is introduced to a big pop from the crowd as the champ enters the ring. He starts to address with AEW Redemption, but is cut off by Will Ospreay's music as the Aerial Assassin make a beeline for the ring. Kenny Omega is glad he's out here because what he has to say is personal and wants to be said directly to Will Ospreay. Since he's out here, dog, let's make this more fun. Back in kindergarten, he and the kids did a thing called show and tell. At AEW Redemption, he showed Will Ospreay how he felt about everything going on with the Death Riders. Now it seems we move on to the tell part. Kenny Omega says he cares about Will Ospreay, wanted the world for him. Remember when they made a promise to be the best, to become champions? 10 times out of 10, Kenny Omega always put their friendship aside of the belt. Every single time. Don't you get why, Will Ospreay? That's the reason he let Will Ospreay enter the Owen Hart Cup, because he wants the best for him. What did he get in return? Will Ospreay, with his voice of disappointment, telling him how he hated that Kenny Omega gave up on himself. Will Ospreay doesn't know how much those words could cut deep. But does it look like he gave up? He asks this as he raised the world title. Will Ospreay isn't one to talk down to him before. He isn't one to do so. To do so now, he asked Will Ospreay if he really felt like he needed to learn the harsh lesson. So what's his excuse now that he's blown up in his face? Will Ospreay grabs a microphone of his own, saying the excuse he has is that he came back too early from surgery. The chance he had at revenge slipped through his fingers. In that moment, he had no one to turn to, not even his own hero. The only one he could turn to was the man who took his old life away. In that moment, he didn't look at the guy who broke his neck. He looked at a former four-time world champion he thought would take him to the top, to where he needed to be. He admitted he admits it even felt good to be a Death Rider. He enjoyed having boys to watch over his back, and he could even understand why they so protective of this place. But that's where it ends, because he couldn't accept John Moxley's method of becoming a world champion. That's why he did what he did. When he saw that chair wrapped around his neck, Kenny Omega interrupts and recounts, not even having the energy to fight back, closing his eyes to accept his fate. Then he could hear the cheers from the fans, and that made him realize Will Ospreay was there to save the day. But then nothing else came. Kenny Omega had to take the chair for himself, and when he looked at Will Ospreay, he saw him with Kenny Omega's title in his hand, and he ripped the plastic bat at his feet. That's when he realized the only reason Will Ospreay took so long to save him was because he debated doing the D himself. He calls Will Ospreay out for what he thinks is Will Ospreay saving him from a trap. He said himself, get really riled up to the point of slapping Will Ospreay around, asking he is acting shy now because he's in front of a live TV camera. This gets Will Ospreay mad as he shows Kenny Omega down, saying as much as he loves and respects Kenny Omega, he will kick the you know what out of him if he keeps this up. He forces the champ. Yeah, he forces the champ out of the ring with Kenny Omega retreating up the ramp as Will Ospreay addresses having his eyes on being the best since he stepped foot in AEW ring. He talks about the difference between him and his home football team being that when it comes time to kick the penalty, he knows he can pull the trigger. Yes, some mixed metaphors in here, but you get the idea. He's not gonna do it from behind. He is not gonna be like John Moxley. He wants this to be about the best versus the best, and he's gonna pull that trigger when it matters most. And when he pulls that trigger, Kenny Omega is gonna see it coming. Will Ospreay music hits as the crowd cheers him on, and Kenny Omega has a smugness about him as he raised his title on the stage. Commentary talk up the road to AEW All in London, including AEW Collision tomorrow and Grand Slam Mexico next week, as we bring AEW Dynamite to a close. Let me read you guys the quick results. Three-way AEW National Championship match. Andrade defeated Nick Wayne and Jack Perry. Speedball Mike Bailey and Brodito defeated Don Callis' family, Brian Cage and Jake Doll and Kyle Fletcher. TBS Championship match. Maya World defeated C-Mill World's Women's Champion First Stephone. AEW Continental Champion John Moxley defeated Commander, which that match was fantastic. AEW World Tour Championship match. The Demand Ricochet, Toro Luna, and Bischoff defeated the Conglomeration, Orange Cassidy, Roger Strong, Kyle O'Reilly. That was a fun tag team match. And AEW Dynamite goes off the air. Alright, let me get my opinion what I think about AEW Dynamite. Now, AEW Dynamite, I thought it was a very good show, and I give it a 7 out of 10. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my AEW Dynamite review and highlights, make sure you guys take the time out of your night to full watch the entire video from all the way from the beginning towards the end. If you are new here, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more every week wrestling review content that I do on the channel, because I'm on the road to 11K subscribers, so help me get to 11K subscribers. And that's all I gotta say. But follow all my socials down below in the description. And go check out my WWE NXT review on highlights. Go check out my WWE Raw review on highlights. And go check out my AEW Redemption review on highlights I also did on the channel. Without further ado, I will see you guys tonight for my upcoming world premiere for my AEW Dynamite review on highlights at around 5 o'clock a.m. on YouTube. And I will see you guys tomorrow live on Twitch for some retro game. And that's all I gotta say from here. But I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club, Bullet Squad. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang. Like the video and share the video and hit me up in the comment section what you guys think about AEW Dynamite, because AEW Dynamite was a very good show and I give that show a 7 out of 10. But the closest segment between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, that was the closest segment of the night in my opinion. But anyway, enough of me yapping. I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club, Bullet Squad. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.